I went to this party with this chick, and I wanted to see who was at the party first, just because I already know. Like, I've been in the streets, I've been around. So I get off the car, and there's just a group of guys. There's probably maybe 15 guys, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. They knew me. I recognized them. I'm not dumb. So I went to get back in the car, and I reached for the door handle, and I hear, hey, what do you claim? As I turned around, dude got one on me, and it got into a scuffle. I pushed him off me. He stumbled back. I look up, and that's when everybody just rushed in. And in the process of me fighting everybody off, I had actually pulled a gun out and started shooting. Yeah, my family doesn't come from money, so he ended up getting shot. He went to the hospital because it was a gut shot. My family doesn't have money, so I didn't have no lawyer. Prosecuting attorney told me, hey, you got two choices. Either take the charge as a juvenile, you'll be committed to the state, go to a juvenile prison. It'll be on your juvenile record, and the time that you're released is just dependent on how well you do. So your second option is you fight it. You'll be looking at a gang enhancement, and you'll be doing prison time. Mm-hmm. So again, given like financial situation, I feel like if it was anybody else, it would have been a self-defense case. But just because of the situation, the money is a big factor. So yeah, they said since I had my hand on the door, they broke it down because I turned around when I could have got into the car. That took the self-defense completely out of it.
What?
Yeah. Not Braden.
Oh,
Brandon.
Oh no, not yet, man. I want to get him on for sure.
Yeah, he'd be.
You guys don't work at the same barbershop or nothing, do you? No. He's down off Shinden, isn't he?
No, he actually. I got him into my old spot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's a little studio. It's way cheaper. It's like $265 a month.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'd hate to just give it up to anybody.
Yeah.
Like, take advantage of it, make your money.
Nice, man. That's cool. Yeah. Nice. So, man, I was telling Ken, because even Ken, like, he was saying, give me a little fucking nugget so I can do some research. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No. So, I mean, we just met.
He's been fighting me the whole time. He's like, I don't want to hear it.
And everybody, when we were up at the retreat, and, like, people would kind of, especially Mark, I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd walk away.
Yeah, he steer cleared.
Yeah, because even, like, I'll be honest, like, I find myself a good judge of character. Yeah. And, like, when I first saw your face, I was like, oh, dude, this guy's got a great story. Yeah. I just feel your energy, feel your presence. And then, like, Mark's like, oh, my God, you got to hear a story. I'm like, oh, no, we got to get him on the pod, So I really appreciate you coming, man.
Yeah.
So it's also a small world, like, knowing Braden,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
So Braden, you obviously met him at the gym.
Yeah.
So you were still the 5 a.m. club?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we there.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
What gym do you go to?
I go to Axiom right here on Overland and Cole.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, man. All right. Yeah. From Boise?
I'm from Caldwell. From Caldwell, but
Idaho, then I should say.
Yeah, Idaho.
Nice, man. And that you didn't know anybody at the retreat besides Braden?
So Travis, I knew Travis and Darian.
Okay, how do you know them?
So I actually did Scout Micropigmentation on Travis.
That's right. Now explain to Ken what is Scout Micropigmentation.
All right. So Scout Micropigmentation is an option for men or women that are bald and are thinning. I go in with pigment, and to make it kind of short, I tattoo hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think my sister does that with eyebrows.
Yeah. So it's more cosmetic that's more like facial cosmetics, but this one's more aimed towards just the hair loss.
Yeah.
So same equipment, different technique.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so how long have you been doing it?
So I've been doing it for a year.
1 year.
1 year, and I'm killing it. I'm putting Idaho on the map.
Nice.
I'm gonna own it. I'm Idaho's best scalp micropigmentation artist. So
hell yeah, man.
I've earned it. I've earned it.
Yeah, we'll have to show you like his Instagram and show you his work. Like it's transformative.
Yeah.
Because even more than that, it's like, especially, I don't remember his name. I was calling him Steve. Your partner, the lawyer.
Okay, yeah. So my lawyer.
Dude, I'm telling you, the before picture, he don't fuck. Second picture, he fucks.
He's getting...
You can see his face. His face is like he's happy. Like it transformed his life.
Yeah, he's completely different.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, I mean, things like that, though, do level you up, though, you know? We talk about that all the time. Like, just all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I just reached a new level.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Because I think especially for men, there's two things. Height and hair.
Mm-hmm.
And so especially, like, you can't do anything about your height.
Yeah.
But, like, with hair, like, there's always been options. I remember even as a kid, Bosley, Rogaine, all those things.
Yeah,
and so
it's funny that you bring up Bosley. Is they just up their price to like $6,000 to start up. But if that doesn't work for the client, patient, they added scalp micropigmentation on their list of services.
No way.
So it's actually becoming a lot more involved in the hair loss industry as far as like even hair transplants. Like now they're teaming up with SMP artists to kind of like double up. Now you got the growth of the hair, and then there's no way for them to actually fill in the scalp, so it looks very sparse.
Right.
So with scalp micropigmentation, adding that density, it just complements.
I got to get you with my boy Ali, the guy that cuts my hair.
Yeah, so funny story, I brought 38 new SMP artists to the area. I got into it through the barber industry, and I've tried to connect with a lot of barbers, cosmetologists, PMU artists, and just to kind of, hey, add a list of service that's a high paying value, you know what I mean, that's going to get you your money. And if you've already built and established a relationship with your client, why not take care of them? You know?
Yeah, and it's once you have that relationship, it's an easy close.
Yeah, and Ali, I believe he has had a hair transplant.
Yeah, didn't go very good.
No, and then
so now he's going to Turkey to do it again.
Yeah, and that's very invasive. Like,
oh my God, yeah. And then I would be more curious: is what's a success rate?
Yeah, well, everybody's, especially like the hair transplants, they show you a lot of the successful ones, but they don't show you the ones that didn't take.
So you're saying you do beards as well? So
yeah,
wow, because I have a patchy beard. You know?
Yeah, so I feel like we start off with the consultation, and I go over the pros and cons of scalp micropigmentation and then other different hair loss options, right? Just because if it's not the right fit for the client, I don't want them to get something that they're going to regret later on. Yeah. And especially with the beard, like that's permanent. Oh. So imagine, let's say you want to be clean shaved, you're going to have a 5 o'clock shadow all the time. So it's definitely a commitment, but you got the guys that they want that barbershop lineup, that density feel. And a lot of the time, me understanding facial hair is men are always hiding something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or trying to emphasize something. So chances are they're not going to shave. The ones that have the beards aren't going to shave it off. Yeah. But
yeah, I shave sometimes. So yeah. That would make sense.
Yeah. I haven't shaved just because I'm lazy. I don't want to upkeep, man.
Yeah. No. Well, I only do it like once a year or something like that, you know, just because it grows back thicker. I'm hoping that one day I'll have a thick beard, you know.
Yeah. What actually got you into it? Have you always been an artist?
A little bit, yeah. So I'll kind of go over how I got involved in the beauty industry. Is so I'm 2 years, little over 2 years topped out of prison. 3 months out, I got into the barber program, and it just opened up so many different doors.
I think that's like a thing. There's a lot of guys that come out of prison and go into barbership.
Yeah,
right?
well, I got 10 years in the prison system, and to understand that there's not a whole lot of education, but there is like self-cuts and all this other different other type of education that's going on. And it's up to you to kind of utilize what you pick up, you know?
Yeah. You did 10 years?
I got 10 years in, since I was 17.
17.
Yeah.
All right, so now here we go, man. What's that story?
Where do you want to start?
From the very beginning.
Where do you want to start?
Born in Caldwell.
Yeah. So I was born in Caldwell. I don't even know where to start. I'll be doing a lot of jumping around.
100%.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So I started getting into trouble at a young age. I got 6 sisters, single mom, no father figure. You know, everybody that was kind of involved or around was just cycling in and out of prison, and that almost became like the norm. Like I'm gonna go to prison. You know what I mean? In other kids' situation, it was I'm gonna go to college. And just to align that now, I look back and I'm just like, fuck, you know. But yeah, I started gangbanging young. I got jumped in when I was like 13. I had my daughter at 16. And I actually moved out of Caldwell just to get away from the drama. Our house got shot up. My mom was like, hey, you know what, son? Like, go out to Twin, move out to Twin, take your family, start fresh. And that's what I did. It didn't work out between me and my baby's mom. And she ended up moving back. 3 months later, I ended up moving back to Caldwell. And I ended up finding myself at this party. And I went to this party with this chick, and I wanted to see who was at the party first, just because I already know, like, I've been in the streets, I've been around. So I get off the car, and there's just a group of guys. There's probably maybe 15 guys, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. They knew me. I recognized them. You know, I'm not dumb. So I went to get back in the car. And I reached for the door handle, and I hear, hey, what do you claim? As I turned around, dude got one on me, and it got into a scuffle. I pushed him off me. He stumbled back. I look up, and that's when everybody just rushed in. And in the process of me fighting everybody off, I had actually pulled a gun out and started shooting. Yeah, my family doesn't come from money, so... So he ended up getting shot. He went to the hospital because it was a gut shot. My family doesn't have money, so I didn't have no lawyer. Prosecuting attorney told me, hey, you got 2 choices. Either take the charge as a juvenile, you'll be committed to the state, go to a juvenile prison. It'll be on your juvenile record, and the time that you're released is just dependent on how well you do. So your second option is you fight it, you'll be looking at a gang enhancement, and you'll be doing prison time. Mm-hmm. So again, given like financial situation, I feel like if it was anybody else, it would have been a self-defense case. But just because of the situation, you know, the money is a big factor. So yeah, they said since I had my hand on the door, they broke it down because I turned around when I could have got into the car. That took the self-defense completely out of it.
What?
Yeah. So it was like split seconds, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And I've been involved in it, and I have a hard time turning my back on something that I know that, you know, that could harm me. You know what I mean? So it was just more of a survival mode, you know? Anyways, yeah, I did 3.5 years as a juvenile. I went up to St. Anthony. I didn't get very much family visits there just because my family was out here. And again, my mom was a single mother taking care of what, you know, she had to take care of. And I did my time out there, ended up getting out. And I feel like I missed a whole lot of that big transition between being a teenager to an adult and being, you know, just that's a big jump right there. Yeah. And especially with my daughter, I was a dad for a year right up until that happened, and it just got completely ripped from me. Thrown in the prison system as a juvenile, and yeah. So I get out. I'm trying to make my life just somewhat complete. They actually kicked me out of Canyon County because of it was a gang-related issue, whatnot, and I ended up going back to Twin again, away from my daughter. So I'm trying to be dad from away, and still trying to like maintain and catch up, and it was a pain, and I was still trying, be.
I don't mean to interrupt,
No, you're
but
good.
I just want to ask, because you said your baby mama was living in Caldwell.
Yeah.
Was she still in like the old lifestyle, or was she ever in it, or how did that link together? Because sometimes I have friends that brings them back in.
Well, I feel like, because I don't want to place blame on her, and I'll own what I've done, but we were 16.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were together for a month before my daughter was born. And as fucked up as it sounds, it was planned. It was like, we're going to do this.
Oh, you guys, it's like puppy love. We want to have a baby.
And like I said, a month in, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy to think about. But she was doing her thing. She was doing her thing, and I wouldn't say she was mixed in it, but since she was my baby's mom at the time, like she was like affiliated in that aspect. But yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know if maybe that's what brought you back in, or
no. Well, I honestly, it was just I wanted to be closer to my daughter. You know what I mean?
Moving back.
Yeah.
Because how did it make you feel when you had your daughter?
I was somebody that I never had, and it was good to be that. You know what I mean?
Oh, dang. Yeah. You never had a dad.
Yeah.
You never felt that fatherly love.
Yeah.
So, just exactly you said it. You became what you never had.
Yeah.
So you felt that love for someone else.
And it was hard. It was hard to kind of disconnect, and then like to become a prisoner at that, an inmate. Then expectations because you're affiliated. And
expectations in prison.
Well, yeah, juvenile prison, and kind of, walk a line that's there that's untalked about.
You have to act you have to be affiliated.
Yeah, I went in affiliated, and up until the last 2 years of me being out, like I never have to ask anything, you know what I mean? And I did it all the way up until the end. And at that point, I was like, hey, you know what? Check it out. When I get out this time, I'm going to do me. And that's what I did. But where were we?
You were, sorry for interrupting.
No, you're good.
But, you were in Twin for a couple months, and you were thinking about. So, again, the community, I got kicked out of Canyon County, so I couldn't live in Caldwell. And I moved to Twin, and I was working out there, and I had ended up going out one night, and it was past my curfew, and I went to this pool hall, and I got into it with this guy, and it was over just a look. And I'm on mine what I've done, and it was over a look.
Yeah.
At like 1920, and I got kicked out of the pool hall. I ended up walking home to my aunt's, and I see this big truck pull up. And as this big truck pulls up, this guy jumps out, and it was the same one from the pool hall. And I'm not a very good shit talker, so as he's coming at me, I just wait for us to connect, and it gets into a little fight, and I just remember last punch I get on him, he stumbles back, and that's when I seen him pull it out, and he hit me he shot me in the gut. It was in and out. So as soon as he shot, as soon as I seen the shine from the gun, the blast, heard the shot, he was in his truck. He was gone. And
one shot and gone.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. So I ended up walking to this bar, and
bleeding.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So I ended up walking to this bar, and I'm like, hey, I'm shot. I don't have a cell phone on me. Can you call the cops, the ambulance? And they're like, nah, you're not shot. You look just fine. And I lifted up my shirt, and sure enough, they're like, hey, come in here. And I remember there's this old guy at the bar, and he's like, he's shot. Get him a shot. And by the time so the cops got there first, The ambulance got there second, and by the time the ambulance got there, the cops had already had me in handcuffs, turned around, and the ambulance were like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? Like, this is the victim. There's no, he has no weapons on him. Like, what's going on?" And this is just because, again, you paint yourself, you put that energy out there, you're gonna get a whole lot of what you got coming to you. You know what I mean? So, yeah, they actually violated my probation for getting shot. It wasn't for getting shot. It was for me being out past my curfew.
Right.
And they said, hey, if you wouldn't have been out past your curfew, you wouldn't have got shot. Right. The judge that day, I don't know if he felt something like in my situation, like, because I said, I completely understand the first time I got locked up, it was for me being the shooter, but I get shot, 26 staples up my stomach, in and out, and now you guys are going to want to throw me in county for a curfew violation. Is pretty extreme, you know? And he goes, I'm going to do you a favor. You'll get 30 days and you're off juvenile parole. Good luck being an adult. So I did 30 days. Still, again, I'm gonna keep bringing it up because for the longest time I gotta own my shit. But yeah, I get into county and these guys put me on the third bunk. And keep in mind, I just had surgery, exploratory surgery.
Oh. So
these deputies, they didn't like me. These cops didn't like me. But again, it was the energy that I was putting out.
Right.
So, yeah, I ended up splitting open my stomach because it was late one night, and all the inmates there. They were like, "Hey, get them down to the single, like a bottom bunk. Like we'll give up our bunk." And they were trying to give out like just disciplinary actions to whoever gave me a bunk. And
no way.
Yeah. So when I ended up getting up and I ended up splitting it because I just got out of the shower and I was getting up on my bunk and I just slipped and it opened up and it there was no medical attention, there was no nothing, and it was, hey, fill out a medical kite, you'll be fine. And it's like, hold on, like my shit's fucked up, 26 staples, you know what I mean? So I feel like from an early age on, I didn't see things how I'm seeing them now, or the ownership part, and it kind of instilled this like me against them, you know.
Yeah.
And it was on a different level because I never did nothing directly to them, but just because I was wearing the uniform as a inmate, you know, that's the energy that I got back.
Let me ask you this, because like, oftentimes I've found that like the biggest guys, like that's armor that you wear. It's armor to protect your sensitivity. You're very loving, caring, but were you angry that you didn't have a dad?
No, I felt like where the gang really liked me was, yes, I was bigger, but I was the protector. I was the protector of 6 sisters and my mom. Like there's been times where I would beat up my stepdad for fucking up my mom. You know what I mean? Or
at
protecting my sister. 8, 9.
Dang.
You know?
That's what I mean. Like going back, like was the energy, because you said it perfectly. The energy that you put out is the energy that you get back. Was the energy that you're putting out anger? Angry that you, as a child, because at 8 years old, angry that you have to do that.
So, like I said, we're going to be jumping back, but I went to this seminar since I've been out, and I'm just finding myself, right? And they talked about a mask, right? Why we are who we are. When did it start? And I had to be real with some shit. And so at the age of like 10, 11, my aunt was jumping into bed with me. And so many mixed feelings, right? Did I like it? Is this normal? She's my aunt. She used to change my diapers. Do I tell somebody? I told my mom's husband at the time, ex-husband, oh, boys like that. Boys like that. It happened so much that I ended up running away from home. That's when I got jumped in.
Oh, wow.
And I feel like this whole time I had this mask on. And I built this mask. I built this look and behind the hurt, behind the pain, behind the confusion. And at the age of 33, I get out of prison after spending 10 years in the system, and realizing that like that wasn't fully me, and there's more potential in me than that. Yeah. And to finally take that mask off and try to figure out who I am, it's a lot. It's been a lot of work.
But you're fucking killing it, bro.
I appreciate it.
You're fucking killing it. That's what I mean. Like, it's armor.
Yeah.
Like, you've put it on to protect yourself from the world that you grew up in, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're saying, like the guilt, the shame, the confusion, the pain, like all of that, like building this. Because I've heard it other times, like the tattoos, like you put it on to like keep people away. You want them to see this energy so they don't even mess with you. Because you've been fucked with for so long, you know, since a child.
And honestly, self-mutilation isn't my thing, but tattoos, like in prison, you get tattoos, you get high, you do some weird shit that this is frowned upon. Like you get violent. And, you know, I was at the end of my stuff, I was just getting tattooed, filling in that, you know.
Totally escaping through it.
I went to like a rich white high school, Centennial High School, but heroin hit my high school hard. Yeah. And there was a lot of fucking kids I graduated high school with that did time. And one of my friends, he's been out for a while now, but he did 10 years. But his was vehicular manslaughter. He was driving back from Twin Falls. His name's John Richardson, good guy. But he was driving back from Twin Falls and fucking hit a mom and a daughter. And the legal limit's 0.8, and I think he was like, but because he wasn't 21, it's like 0.2 or something like that. And he blew like a 0.43 or some shit. And so they got him with an aggravated DUI and manslaughter or something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy how like just one night, one
fuck up,
change your whole life.
And what I'm like realizing like now is I'm at a constant thinking 5-10 steps ahead because of that. I don't have time for error. I've done wasted enough time, and it becomes exhausting. And I don't feel like a lot of people like fully understand that. Like, I'm playing catch up. Y'all motherfuckers have been out here and had enough time to be and doing something successful. You know what I mean? And again, I just don't have time.
You think you've learned the lessons?
I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot.
Well, I mean, I can say from just briefly knowing you, like the success that you're experiencing now, that is the treasure you've received from learning the lessons.
Well, so we kind of touched on like the heroin and stuff, right? Yeah. After getting shot, so we'll get back onto the story, but after I got shot, it was pain pills. Pain pills. I kind of cut them off that first time I got shot. I faded them off. I started smoking herb, and I was good, right? I was off juvenile parole, and like it was okay. Hey, what are you gonna do? And again, like I was still in limbo, not knowing who the fuck I am. Yeah. As far as like what am I doing as an adult? Like a job? I was doing like kitchen work and like not outside jobs. You know what I mean? Like it was far from I guess how it was supposed to be.
How old are you
right now?
No,
right.
This part of the story.
I'm probably 22. 22, about 22. So I get into another situation where some of the guys that I used to ride with just twacked out of their mind.
When you say twack or
meth
gotcha.
Yeah, it blew up into a huge situation. I had plans to go to Cowgirls in Cuna, and we stopped right there at the gas station to gas up real quick, and there's these guys that were looking sketchy, and words were exchanged, and pride was involved. I got out of the car, started walking up to them, and they started dumping. So 6 shots, and I seen the first one, and it just didn't click. I'm like, fuck again, you know? And
fuck.
And I remember the one hit the floor, ricocheted. And at that point, I went to turn to the gas pump, but I'm over here thinking about like movies, right? Gas pumps, guns, boom, I'm good. So I dip out, and I take off running the opposite direction. And right as I hit this corner, I just felt like a buckle. And I took off running, probably 6-7 houses down. And I see a car come back around, and I'm like, either it's my ride, it's the cops, or, you know, who knows. So, yeah, I get in the car, and at the time I had like a pipe on me, a weed pipe. And I took just everything out of my pocket because I knew I was going to go to the hospital. And I'm sitting there off the seat because I didn't want to bleed on it. And I didn't know where I was hit. I just knew I was hit, and there's just warmth everywhere. So
You're
I get
in a car?
Yeah.
Oh, so the car was
it was my ride. Yeah. So I get to the hospital. I get out. Nothing on me. I go in there. I'm like, hey, I need a doctor. I'm shot. And I'm still calm. Something was telling me I was good, but I started unbuckling my pants. Right, bullet hole here. Blood coming out here from two different holes, one coming out the side.
Oh shit!
So it had hit my left hip, was a pinhead away from my urethra, came out my right nut sack, grazed my nut, went back into my inner thigh, came back out the other side.
Fuck, you're lucky to hit your femoral artery.
Yeah. The doctors were so like, you know, it was crazy. And at this time, Caldwell, like it's came to light in I think the last couple years about the gang unit out there being crooked as hell and some shit going on, as far as like writing false reports and sleeping with like it.
No way.
Yeah, it was a big thing.
Day shit.
Yeah, it was a big thing, and again, the energy that I was putting out, these motherfuckers wanted me, you know. And
the gang unit.
Yeah, the gang unit wanted me.
For what?
Well, I shot somebody, and 3.5 years later, I was back out on the street. So I was, we got this gangbanger. He's out on the street, and he's active. And again, the energy, you know. So on my way to the hospital, because they drive me from Caldwell to Boise because they wanted to do like surgery and go through and see exactly what was up. And I got this cop talking to me, and me and him get into it because he's trying to question me. And come on, man, you got me fucked up. If you think
while you're at the hospital,
well, while I'm in the van or the ambulance going to the hospital, I'm like, I ain't got shit to say to you, you know. And yeah, you know what? I get to the hospital. Cops are still buzzing around trying to figure out what was what. They had everything on the video camera, right? And these guys, they were trying to play their cards because as soon as I got out of the exploratory surgery or whatever, I was fucked up on whatever pain pills they were on, you know, or they had me on. Yeah. And I guess they had questioned me at some point. And like everybody knows, like that's not gonna, whatever I was to say.
Yeah, that's duress, man.
Yeah,
you're not
like you shouldn't even be talking to anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, it turned into this big thing, and I'll get into it. But so they tell me, hey, you know what? You since you want to be uncooperative and nobody's been found guilty or has pled guilty, you got to come up with your money the money for your surgery yourself. And again, I'm from the streets. My family doesn't have money. I had a 6-inch knot on my right nut that needed to be removed. And at the time, my nuts, due to the impact, they were like grapefruits.
Damn.
So I feel like
who was saying that you need to come up with the money? The cops?
Yeah, the cops
Fuck
told me.
them.
Yeah.
Were you giving me fucking advice?
No, so check this out. So I just feel like they set the stage.
100%. Fuck them.
3 days later, I ended up selling to an undercover.
Oh.
So the first time ever messing with meth, and I got charged with this, so I don't mind talking about it. But yeah, man, I went up to go pick up herb because that's all I dealt with. You know, I like the people in that aspect and not these shady ass other people, and you know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I went to go pick up. They're like, hey, it's not ready yet, but here's this, and one of the ounces of meth that I went and picked up. Went to undercover. 3 days later, they hit me, and man, everything was just off about the case. Everything. They waited a whole year to hit me with charges. They were trying to I don't know what they were trying to do. They thought like I was into shit a whole lot bigger than, again, just the energy and me being the way I look. They're like, this motherfucker, he got stings, just like, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I get into Voc Rehab. Voc Rehab drags out. Voc Rehab, they help you get into some sort of job placement, and they'll buy you the tools and get you like the outfits and everything to kind of maintain a job. And it was probably, I don't know, maybe a month, 2 months into this job. I was working what was it? Auto body. And I remember leaving work, and I just seen the cops. Undercovers pull me over. They're like, we got a warrant for you. They had me under Victor Nino Rafael Villarreal, and my name is Victoriano Reynaldo Villarreal. I'm like, nah, you guys got the wrong guy. Like, I've been straight. I didn't know a whole year later they got me for that shit. So I ended up getting a lawyer this time because I was like, nah, ain't no way. So she got me felony possession, or it went from trafficking to delivery of a controlled substance. I got felony probation with the withheld judgment. So as long as I did good for those 3 years, I would have been off paper. But as soon as I got on paper, they're like, hey, we only better see opiates in your system because no more weed. So I got stuck on, again, even because at this point, like I wanted more for the pain. You know, it was a pride thing. At this point, I lost my right nut, and I was told, hey, you can't have kids no more. And again, it was the pills, the situation, the environment that just made this perfect storm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of hate, a lot of anger. So the whole thing with like the charges and stuff with the shooting was, honestly, I could have said, hey, that was them and this is their. I don't fucking remember. But they got these guys. It came down to the court, and they got these guys on camera, faces shown, like they weren't hiding it, no nothing. They got the gun. But what they were trying to do, I feel, is, and then they were trying to turn these guys on one another and said that they told on each other, which they did. Then put a rat jacket on me, and just again caused chaos in that aspect.
I guess I was a little confused at this new transition.
So I went back to this charge. Okay. So I'm
for getting shot.
Yeah.
What did you get charged with?
I didn't get charged because there was nothing for me to get charged. Was no.
This is the meth charge.
No, so I had already got charged for the meth, right?
And you were on felony probation.
And in this process, not even a year. So in this process, we're going through the court for them.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, I don't know nothing, right? And my PO's like, hey, if you're not being cooperative, we're going to throw you in jail. For what? I'm the victim. I don't know what you guys are, what you guys are talking about. I don't care about the paperwork. The paperwork wasn't written from me. It was written from the cops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it came down to the court, and they brought up the documents of when I had my surgery, what time I got out of it, and what time they questioned me. And the judge looked at them. Are you guys, like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, there's nothing right about this situation. And why are you going to put the victim in a situation when you guys got the cameras?
Yeah, you already have caught them red-handed.
Exactly. But again, because of who I am and to cause just this chaos, these motherfuckers were playing crooked. You know what I mean? And again, I'll own it. The energy that you put out, I'm going to keep saying it because I got to keep reminding myself. But yeah, so a year in to felony probation, gang unit hits the house.
Your house?
Yeah. They said, hey, what are we going to find? I said, you know what? There's 8 grams of weed downstairs. You guys are going to find it. It's out. They said, okay, well, what were you going to do with it? And at this time, I went from shooting heroin, to methadone. And I was trying to kick the heroin, and it was like trading one addiction for the other. And now it's methadone. Now the state's getting paid for it. They're cool with it. I was going to these methadone clinics, and it was just like a trap house. You know what I mean? Like, same get up. But I was on 165 milligrams of methadone at the time that they hit the house. When they hit the house, they asked me, what were you going to do with it? I said, hey, you know what? I've been on felony for a year. I thought I'd celebrate, smoke it. Decided it was a dumb idea. I could have made an extra buck off it to pay you guys COS, cost of supervision. And they said, all right, cool. We're going to give you 7 days discretionary. I'm like, all right, cool, run it. I do the 7 days, get out. Same thing with the methadone clinic. About a month later, right? A month later, see all these cars passing by. I'm just like, my gut feeling. I dip out the back. And sure enough, 30 minutes later, they hit the house looking for me. They got a felony or a warrant for felony possession with intent to deliver of 8 grams of weed. 8 grams of weed, right? And at this point, I'm just like, you guys gotta be again.
You already fucking paid the price for it. How can they?
Double jeopardy.
Well, they you know what I mean? And it's so hard not to play the victim. And I don't want to play the victim. Like, I'll own what I did, but y'all motherfuckers are playing dirty. You know what I mean? Man. Like, you guys are continuously fucking with me. And yeah, it was just all bad. So I decided to turn myself in, and yeah, I turned myself in, and so on felony, they since I caught a new felony, they were like, hey, fight it or drag it out for a year and a half. Like, what do you want to do? And they're like, well, you'll get a rider program, a 6-month rider program. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, fuck, man. And I remember calling my buddy at the time. And I'm like, what do you think I should do? And he goes, honestly, I feel it would benefit you for taking the charge, going through the rider program, and getting sober. Take it as that. And yeah, I did. I went in, and fuck, man, just my luck. 6 months turned into a 9-month cap or TC program, therapeutic community. Yeah. And again,
is that worse?
It was like a boot camp, and then on top of it, it's a program where I hold you accountable. And there's so many different things. Like, you can't forget your ID. You guys can't talk together because it could be considered an escape plan. So you got to say, hey, like, be aware. It's all programming, right? There's a lot of groups that go on, a lot of like accountability that's being held, and again, another situation. So I went to the 9-month one, right? I'm in it. I'm doing the damn program. One of my homies that was there, he got kicked out. He got kicked probably 6 months, 7 months. Yeah, 6 months. And he got kicked out for being too aggressive when holding somebody else accountable, right? how I've always looked at something, it has been completely different. To put us in a situation where I'm holding you accountable, that's almost like an altercation in our eyes, right?
Totally.
So our alignment is with that. So our heart's racing, our physical responses are there. We do get loud. We don't know how to associate it with anything else. Then, hey, you know what? Like, you can't be doing that because we've never done that shit before, you know. And there's three rules in this program: is no sexually acting out, no drugs or alcohol, or no violence. You do any of those three, you're done. And they considered him holding this guy accountable violent. He didn't have his hands on dude. He didn't put hands on dude. It was just, again, like, but to explain that to these guys, like,
they don't want to
pointless, yeah. So I see my homie get shackled up and taken off. And then I'm still in the program. Probably 2-3 weeks later, I'm in this program and I'm just like, I'm still heated about this situation. And so there's these two white dudes. They're in the shower. One happens to be gay. He grabs the other guy's dick. In the shower, this guy jumps out of the shower, goes and tells the CO, hey, this motherfucker just grabbed my dick. The CO tells him, hey, I want you to go seek an apology from him or see if he'll give you an apology, right? I'm listening to this. I'm like, the fuck? You just kicked my homie out.
Yeah.
For you know what I mean? And so there's booking slips. There's a booking system, right? You tell somebody, then they do it again or they continue to do it, you write them up. So I feel like the only way to kind of hold these guys accountable is through the booking system that they put out. So I filled out CO Erickson, I'm pulling you up for not following through with job duties when it came down to a sexual advancement. Legit. Put it in the box. The next morning, they call me to the bubble. My counselor that's in charge of me being released, that CO and his higher up. And what they told me was, you're sticking your nose where it doesn't belong. And I'm like, that's this whole program, is to hold others accountable while looking at your own behaviors. And, yeah, man, like, after hearing, hey, you're sticking your nose where it doesn't belong, and I don't give a fuck what you say, is this going to be an issue, or are you going to continue to push this? What do you want to do about it? I'm like, hey, you know what? I don't feel safe right now. You're in charge of my release. You're not backing me. I said, I'm good. I'm gonna pull out of this, and I'm just going to leave it alone. And they're like, all right, good choice. I go back to the tier, and I'm just like heated, right? I feel like I got punked out. And how these motherfuckers that are telling me, hey, do good, you'll get out, do good, when they're not even living by that. Right. You know what I mean? And it was like so come probably my 7th, 8th month, they shut down the whole program. They said it's not working. The recidivism rate is too high. It's not working. Within 24 hours, everything was pulled off the walls that said TC, the rules, the expectations, everything was gone, and it was like a county jail all over again, right? And I was still in my own little world, like, fuck, man, like, I was still heated about it. So I did a PREA call. A PREA call is for like a sexual situation, and it goes and they have to do a report about it, right? So I jump on there and I'm like, hey, I know about a sexual advancement that had taken place and nothing was done by the COs about it. Honestly, I didn't care about the inmates. It was the COs that I was holding accountable.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, where's the power check? You know? Man, I thought I was up in the mountains, up in Orofino. No, not Orofino, Cottonwood.
Oh yeah.
I was up there, and honestly, I thought helicopters were gonna come, and like an outside agency was gonna come, and they hold that. That's a balance of power, right? Man, the same CO, the same fucking captain comes down, Villarreal, come with us. Let's write this report. And I'm just like, oh, I fucked myself. Right? So again, laid out everything. And they wrote it out. Okay, cool. So at the time that I made the phone call, it was during program hours. And I said I wanted to call, I was going to make a lawyer, like a call, like to a representative. And I called my mom. I'm like, hey, what do you think I should do? And my mom told me, son, just do your time. Put your head down. And I'm like, nah, I can't. I got to stick up for this. Hung up, and then I did that PRIA call. And so a week later, they gave me a DOR for making a phone call during program hours. So I already have a DOR. And it was count time this day. It was count time. And they had this weekly meeting. And there's this lady, Miss Hunter. She's just mean, man. She was just very mean. And I'm sitting on my bunk because there's this like ledge that comes down, and I'm sitting on the top of the bunk, and my belt loop was touching the bunk. She goes, "You're getting a DOR. You're laying down during count time." Because my belt was touching the bunk.
No fucking way.
As soon as that situation happened, they already had the COs there. Pull me out, put me in holding, and that was it. And they sent me over to Orofino for holding, and then back down to Boise to kind of be sent out to whatever prison that I kind of qualify for, right? I've had to make the like calls before. Hey, I'm getting locked up. But when I'm talking to my daughter and I'm telling my baby's mom and my mom, like, hey, I'm doing good. Everything's good. Like, I'm doing the program. I'm doing what they're wanting. Like, you guys are motivating me. I'm going to do it. I'm going to bite my tongue. And then to be sent to prison, not even with the chance to speak to my judge and say, hey, like, this is the situation. This is what occurred. Like, there has to be some sort of record of it. Yeah. And I feel like it was retaliation.
Yeah.
And nothing, man. They put me in a pit, I felt, full of other inmates in misery. And honestly, it was the first time I experienced, I got high off meth. And when you have a whole bunch of other animals around you, banging back meth, looking at you like, well, you one of us or not? That ego, that pride, that hurt, that pain comes in, and yeah, I banged back. The first time I ever did meth was through IV or through a rig. To experience my whole life, be around it, whatever, and to do it in prison, to pick up a drug addiction in prison, that hit, that was crazy to me, right? Because seeing my stepdad grow up, he killed every temptation just because of how he was, you know what I mean? So yeah, 2 weeks, I was, getting high, and I snapped out of it. I'm like, nah, man, being paranoid in prison already, I'm good.
Yeah.
So I ended up making it to a work center, the farm, and my points were low enough. And everybody's like, hey, yeah, you good. It's your first go around. Like, you're not, like, everything's at a standstill. You don't have to go and do anything stupid to, like, there's the tour, right? And that's kind of experience all these prison systems and going, yes, it's a mess. But I ended up making it to a work center, and, man, I jumped on road crews. Honestly, I hate the drive up there to Donley. The only time I ever went up to Donley was on a road crew, cleaning up the sides of the road. Yeah. That was a whole different experience, But so yeah, I do my time. I I don't want to talk too much of like prison politics, because that's a whole different,
Yeah.
But I made it through. There was one situation after I got my parole date, and I remember this guy. It was over the microwave in Ego, but he said I took the food out of the microwave. And I'm like, listen, I'm not going to argue with you, dog. You got anything to say, we could go to the bathroom. Sure enough, we went to the bathroom, and I broke his nose. He was done. He was cool. I'm good. We left it at that. Next day, we get wrapped up. I hem the dude up in the like the bird cage, because they have a house while they're doing their little investigation. I said, hey, I know you're from Caldwell. I'm from Caldwell. As easy as it is to find me, it's going to be easy to find you. What do you want to do? What's your story? Hey, you know what? We were fucking around, and it was horseplay. As long as our intent, like I'm very aware of verbiage and breaking down like policy and procedures, and it's a prison thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a game.
Yeah, it is. It is. And they sit you in a room and give you this book, and the only thing you're going to read is this book. You're going to read that motherfucking book.
Yeah.
And manipulate it any way you can, and loopholes and this and that, right? But yeah, so I got off on it as horseplay. As long as our intent wasn't to harm one another, it was horseplay. Yeah. So it was a lower DOR. I got to keep my date. In that process, I was able to get my CDL. And I was driving truck and setting up desks at just different state-owned facilities. And yeah, I get out, again, trying to make relationships work with my daughter. My baby's mom, that's just the communication part, the forgiving part. Yeah, probably, I would say, and like 7-8 months in, maybe 9, that itch. So in prison, there is meth. There's like, I've seen ounces of meth at a time in a prison facility, right? Brought in by nurses and just.
No way.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, but it's there, right? Needles are getting brought in from the diabetics. Like, it's a hustle. But anyways, but it wasn't like you went and got a whole sack and did it to yourself. Like, it's more controlled. You feel me? Because now it's not just you. Now you got 20 other motherfuckers that are like, keep it in check, or you're gonna get checked. You know what I mean? Out here,
because you guys have to like work out every day.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's rules to prison that you got to follow.
Yeah,
it's like
regulations.
Yeah,
yeah.
And there's like people that put you guys in check, and then you have to put your homies in check.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I make it out of prison, CDL, and fuck, man, I didn't realize like a lot of these CDL drivers, they're on the go. They're using drugs.
Fuck yeah.
They have to be.
Oh, for sure. And
it was one time, man, that I was just I was going back and forth, just driving everywhere. And one of the other drivers was like, hey, here, check it out. Stay up. And I was like, well, I don't know how to smoke it. I don't know how to snort it. Or I've never done it no other way. And I decided shoot it, because that's how I was taught. And everything fell apart. And out there, like, again, in there, yeah, by the ounces, cool. But now there's trap houses. Now there's females out here that are like, hey, here, come chill, come get high, let's party. And it's everywhere. It's everywhere that I was, because, again, that energy that I was putting out, you're going to find what you're looking for. You feel me? So
this is in the last 2 years after you got out, after the 10 years?
No. This was probably 2017.
Okay.
So the day I relapsed.
From this trucker.
Well, no. So that was after. Or no. The first time I relapsed was before that.
Okay.
And it was at my homie's pad.
And because I've never I've never banged anything or whatever the terminology was, but is that in the vein or is it just?
It's in the vein.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I relapsed at my homie's pad, and I was used to opiates, so there was no opiates around. But he's like, "Hey, here's this," and boom, boom, you know. And I relapsed that day. I did a shot, and then after I did the shot, they're like, "Hey, you know what? Feds are watching the house." Like, I'm like, I don't want to be around this tweaker shit. Like, I'm good. The paranoia, the this, that, I'm out. And my homie's like, "Hey, dog, like, back me up with the ride. Let me go with you. I'll stay in the camper at your mom's and have my girl pick me up." I said, "If you have anything on you, leave it here, dog." Nah. So, I don't want to get too far into that, but we leave, and I thought they were just high. And sure enough, fucking gang unit hits me, or they're hauling ass down the road, and I'm like, we're good. The only thing they got on us is we're affiliated and we're hanging out, right?
This is the day you relapse.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say I was really upset with my friend because I told him to leave everything there. I get to this stop sign and I realize that motherfucker still has shit on him. And I run that stop sign, pull into my mom's in a rush, and at the end of it, he didn't have nothing. I'll just put it like that. He didn't have nothing on it at the end by the time I got to my mom's. And again, I'm very familiar with the law, and I'm very, like, verbiage is everything to me. And they have us at gunpoint. They say, "Oh, eluding, huh, Villarreal? That's a 5-piece. I said, "Nah, my intent wasn't to get away from you. My intent was to pull into my mom's house because I don't have no insurance." I had insurance. But again, I don't have no insurance, and house. I don't want you to take my ride. At least, take me, lock me up. But I wasn't trying to get away from you guys. Then that saved my ass. The only thing they had on me is I ran a stop sign.
Yeah.
So...
Look how fast that energy came.
Yeah.
The day you relapse. Yeah. Boom, right back at you.
Yeah. So, yeah, my PO's pissed. He shows up with the Fed agent. He's like, "What's going on, Villarreal?" And I'm like, I don't even know this guy. And he goes, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "Listen, I relapsed. I just want to get back to work and start doing my thing again." He goes, "Oh, so you need money?" He goes, "All right, so my name's so-and-so, and I pay for information." I'm like, "You got me fucked up." I said, "Cuff me, take me in front of the board for fucking running a stop sign. That's what you guys got on me. You got me fucked up." And my PO looks at me. He goes, "You know what? If we find anything, a tutor, a rig, a cap, you're going back." I'm like, "Tear it up." They tore it up and didn't find shit.
Nice.
And they took my homie, and yeah, I was good. I didn't have nothing.
But so when you say took your homie, he
got locked up. They took him and
got rolled up.
Yeah. So, but yeah, at that point, like, I still had that itch. I was trying to, snap out of it. I got put on UAs. The UAs weren't nothing. I'm like, "Hey, you know what? There's no point in testing me. Like, I'll admit, like, I'm dirty. I want help. I've never had drug treatment, right?" And he goes, "Okay, we'll throw you in county." I'm like, "You motherfucker, I'm gonna stay high, incarcerated. Like, I picked this up in there. I'm asking for help out here." And he goes, "Jail's your option. What do you want to do?" I'm like, "I ain't going to jail. Like, fuck, I guess let me shake it." And I feel like deep down inside, these motherfuckers just wanted to hit me with charges. But they couldn't get me on something big if I wasn't doing anything, So honestly, I just got stuck. I got stuck on stupid, and they didn't hit me with no charges. But guess what? By the time they were like, "Okay, this motherfucker's not gonna pick nothing up. He's smarter than that." They violate my probation, put me in county for. So a term of condition is not breaking any state, federal, or local laws. Technically, me running the stop sign Okay, so what they did was they backtracked all the way up until that violation. They took my street time. They threw me in county. I went and seen on-site. And, man, in county, it was like just throwing me back in the jungle. You know what I mean? And there's habits that you pick up while incarcerated. And I feel like society throws like sex offenders in there and has us do the dirty work.
Right.
Yeah. And
because there's a rule about that, right?
Yeah,
like, you have to check their papers, and if they're a sex offender, you got to fuck them up, or you get fucked up too, right?
Well, and like I said, I can't get into a lot of the technical stuff, but there was a situation that happened that they said I made a call on this sex offender getting booked, getting fucked up. And I was the one that gave the green light. And again, just I know prison politics. I hold myself to a different standard. When it comes to something like that, you got me fucked up. Like, did I do it? I don't know. Am I happy that dude got hey, he had what coming to him, you know? But they ended up kicking me out of Canyon County for that. They had the prison bus come and pick me up. One of the first times that they had somebody be removed from the county jail to go to prison. And again, in the pits and just the misery, right? And I finally seen revoke, and they hear I got kicked out for this situation, and then my violation was running a stop sign. And that kind of fucked me, because now I'm put in a situation, right, in county jail, and the charge wasn't bad. It wasn't like crazy, like they weren't going to be like, oh my God, right? But now there's this violent situation. Now they have something to kind of
hold you in.
Yeah. So they sent me to prison, and then they finally decided that they were going to give me another rider, a parole violator rider. And
what's a rider?
So a rider is for people just starting. Like, honestly, they bank off you going through these programs. Mm-hmm. Their chances before you actually get sent to prison. Usually they want you to go to 2-3 different programs, because that's a big payout, and then they'll throw your ass in prison.
Because the prison's a for-profit corporation.
Oh yeah. So they finally sent me to it was a cap rider as a violator, and man.
So they just want to keep you in this so they can keep making money off of you. Yeah, but
I believe so. I know, like, there's no winning, and once you're in the system, you're getting milked. Taxpayers are getting milked to put motherfuckers through it. You know what I mean? How is it that you're gonna put somebody you're gonna give somebody 6 years for a baggie of residue, but you're going to give a sex offender 3-month rider?
Yeah.
Like, where does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like, there's so much shit that doesn't make sense in the system, and I just feel like when you put somebody back in the jungle, what do you expect them to do? You know what I mean? And again, I know everybody has to own what they're doing, but man, there's what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Because you're fighting a system that the cards are stacked against you.
Yeah. So, I go through this program. Man, they moved. There's 4 different tiers there. They moved me around to every one, because they're like, oh, this guy, he's a gang member. He's active. Man, I had people working out, even white dudes, a couple black dudes, all working out because I was big. They're like, hey, this motherfucker knows what he's doing. I had 20 people on the tier working out at the same time, doing the same different exercise. I knew the expectations as far as the prison goes. If there's 3 or more people working out together, it's considered like a STG thing, right? Oh, wow. A security threat group.
Yeah.
So, me knowing that, I had everybody break up into thirds and just mimic my workouts. You know what I mean? As long as those thirds are going over there doing it, my third's over here, third's broken up, like it's technically not working together.
Right.
But anyways, they seen, you know what I mean? Like,
the loophole.
They seen it. And again, I would go to by the end of like the 4th year, I'm just like, I'm working out alone. I'm drained. I'm drained at this point, right? And there was one situation once here with the CO, and I'm in mid-conversation with dude. You go into the door, and then my bunk's right here, and then I was going to hit the shower. My shirt was off. I'm not going to put on my shirt, take my shirt off. Like, again, my mentality is I'm a convict. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to... You talk to these writers, and you try to school these writers on all these little rules, you don't fuck with me, man. And again, it was just that mindset, and I got this rookie CO, and I'm talking, and I honestly don't talk to the COs, like whatever, and they tell me, he comes in, he goes, "Hey, I told you to put on your shirt." I said, "Well, I didn't hear you. I was in mid-conversation. I'm getting in the shower now. I'm not going to go out there, put my shirt on, and come back in. You're not going to make me do that." And he goes, I don't know what, he thought I threatened him. And I'm like, listen, man, this is a 6-month writer. If I was going to threaten you, I'd ask you where you lived, where you shopped. That turned into something huge. So that put me in the hole. I get out. And long story short, I already had a target on my back. And I didn't make it through. I go back in front of board, and they're like, "Hey, we're taking all your street time and all the time that you did in the cap writer." So now my top out was actually 4 months from then. It added another fucking year or so, year and a half. And I made it to ICC. ICC is considered like the pits of pits, like gladiator school, like. Once you're there, you're not getting out. You're not going to go to a work center. You're not going to be eligible for a work center. You are documented, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. And, man, I was in there during COVID lockdown, and it was good and it was bad. Like, I went back knowing I was a violator, and I told everybody, "Hey, you know what? I'm front lines. I don't care. What front lines is like, if anything was to pop off, I'd be one of the first ones to jump." Nobody was going to tell me. And I'm not saying that I'm this big badass, but you know what? Hey, nobody's going to tell me. I'm going to do it because I already know what's up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of guys that go to prison, and they're like, on the outs, they're like, "Oh, I'm a gang member. I'm a gangster. I'm gangster. Cool. So when you get to prison, you better act that way too, right?" And then they get to prison, and my family, I wanted a chance to do good and work. Well, were you saying my family when you were out running around getting high and acting a fool?
Right.
Don't come in prison and say that. You know what I mean? Like, be a gangster all the way through, right? And that's something that I live by. Like I said, I said, "Hey, you know what? I'm front lines." And I don't know what it was, man. I don't know what it was, but as soon as COVID hit, everybody was locked down. There was no randoms hitting the tier, so no paper check going on. Like, there was nothing, no movement.
Just locked up day after day.
Yeah, so it was
getting out none.
So there was in the first 3 months there was coming out of your cell 15 minutes every 2 weeks for a shower. Yeah.
You only got to shower once every 2 weeks?
Yeah, 15 minutes. Other than that, it was bird baths.
Fuck.
So it was crazy to see, man. You have a lot of time to actually, like, I know there's people that are doing 23 hours a day, locked down, hour out. We weren't even getting the hour out, so we were just stuck, right? Yeah. And when you're in a room, like my cellie, he was down 8 years. He had 6 left for a DUI, for multiple DUIs. And he actually did tattoos. And, man, I'm running out of spots to tattoo. You know what I mean? There's only so many tattoos you could get. And, like, yeah. Anyway, so, yeah. There was one day that I was looking out and I was seeing these guys go. Like, you guys thought domestics were on the rise out here. Imagine in a prison setting, like, I don't care how cool you are with the guy. Everybody has
especially
their
when you're
breaking
locked
point.
up 15 minutes every 2 weeks. Fuck yeah.
So I'm watching these guys come out. They let them out, go get their tray, come back up, go in the cell, and by twos, right? And I'm seeing these guys, man, and these guys look just so depressed, just lifeless. Some of them let themselves go. They're not even working out, doing the mandos. I know it because.
What's a mando?
Just mandatory workouts.
What does that plan look like? Push-ups, sit-ups,
burpees. Up? You got your burpees. There's certain workouts you're supposed to do, certain count, but
you can do in your cell.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
Is it
supposed to?
You're supposed to. Mandatory.
Is it different for like every clique? Like, do they?
Yeah, everybody got their own little thing, but everybody else's business is not my business.
Right.
Like, me and what I got going on, that's my business. And
like you said, you saw fucking people just totally let themselves go.
Yeah, and beards and just beards and their hair is like no phase and no nothing. So I was looking out, seeing them see that. I looked in the mirror. I'm like, God damn! Like, I was a mess. And I actually had a beard trimmer that it was on standby just in case they took our tattoo gun, because that's how we make our the machines, right? I cleaned myself up, gave myself a taper, cleaned up the beard, lined myself up, and so I was like, hey, hook it up. So I clean him up. By the time dinner comes around, you know, we're pretty fresh, and we come out, and everybody noticed this fucking haircut, this beard lineup. They're like, hey, the barber, who's the barber? You guys got a barber in there? And the homie's like, hey, the homie right here hooked it up. And that was kind of like my first experience with kind of cutting hair. And so COVID restrictions started they started to let people out of their cells. And I remember this one situation. I go and I stay workout because it's my getaway. It's my release, right? And I'm in the gym. I'm working out. Okay, I'm working out, and man, these three guys, they stomped this guy. They stomped it out. This guy's head out. Dude was bleeding. They actually fucked this guy up for 15 minutes, and they dragged this guy over to the bubble. And they had to drag this guy to the bubble because the COs were watching YouTube videos, right? And they finally realize what's going on. They come out and in prison, like, you don't stop until you get maced, right? So again, they couldn't stop. They could not stop. 15 minutes fucking somebody up, that's a long time, and a whole lot of shit could go wrong.
Fuck yeah.
So, and again, I'm working out. I'm seeing all this take place. Guy just being dragged in front of me. I'm not feeling nothing. I'm like, and that's when I realized that there was something wrong, right? A normal person would feel empathy, would feel something, fear, right? No heart pounding, no nothing. Physical response is cool. Even when the mace hit, they maced everybody, you know? So I get out of prison, and I'm like, hey, you know what? Like it's on me. Now I told everybody, hey, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna do me. Like, I've done 8, slept, sweat, shitted with the homies, bled with the homies. I'm gonna do me.
Yeah.
And lifers were cool with it. Hey, get out, do good. Like, we keep seeing these motherfuckers come back, and like, these guys are doing all day. They ain't never getting out. So for them to say, hey, don't even send me money, send me pictures. You know what I mean? Like, that hit different. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I get out. I get into a couple relationships within this few months, and it's just toxic females, you know.
Did you move back to Caldwell?
Yeah, I moved back to Caldwell. And again, at this point...
Are you in Caldwell now?
No. Oh. So at this point, I don't have the gang unit to blame. I don't have my PO. I don't have these loopholes, all this bullshit to blame for my actions. Now it's on me. Right. What am I going to do? And I didn't want to drive truck again because, one, it reminded me too much of being locked up, a confined area, calling out, being away from home, and the dope.
Right.
You know what I mean? Why put myself in that the similar people, places, and things, right? So, yeah, I was talking to my barber. I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to do. And I remember my celly, me cleaning him up. And he goes, why don't you think about cutting hair? And I remember because I went to go get my nephew's haircuts. And it was like, I was trying to be the cool uncle, fresh out. Man, 7 little motherfuckers. That's
7?
Man, I got 16, 17 nieces and nephews. I got 6 sisters, right?
Yeah.
So I was trying to be cool, but that's expensive.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, hey, you know what? Yeah, right? So barber school. I doubted everything up until that day of school, that morning of school. I'm in the parking lot. I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, what the fuck? Do I really want to do this? Like, and so Paul Mitchell way is
that because you didn't believe in like yourself? Like you didn't think you deserved it?
I didn't know what. I just didn't know. It was all new. It was all new
it's such a dramatic change from the life that you had lived.
Yeah. And check this out. Dang. So Paul Mitchell has their way of like clapping everybody in, and that's like cheering them on. So your first day of school, they all line up. The whole school lines up, claps you in, cheers you on.
How'd that make you feel?
I'm walking through this motherfucking
tunnel of love.
Halfway through, man, my palms start sweating. I'm looking around. I'm like, fuck. Like, okay, where's the exit? Like, I look around. By the time we get into this bigger classroom, and the other students had similar looks on their face, and I felt similar to them. I was scared. I was uncomfortable. I hadn't felt that in a long time. And
oh wow, that brings it back. Damn.
Yeah, and it brings me back to that situation where dude's getting smashed out
because you hadn't felt love.
Nah, nothing. And that's the whole thing of the prison thing is you're away from your family, your loved ones. You're completely shutting off everything that you're not in control of. You start not care about certain things, and it's an unhealthy thing at the end. Like, it gets you through the survival mode and gets you through, right? But it fucks with you in the long run, and I'm still dealing with it now because I'm not emotionally involved. A lot of people spend a whole lot of time about putting energy into, oh, my fucking car broke down and I don't know, all that, right? That they're not even worrying about the solution yet. Me, I'm not worrying about here. I'm the solution. Let's go. Right? That makes me more of like a robot, right? Yeah. Where I'm not feeling for certain things. And I'm experiencing that again now in relationship with my daughter, my family, this relationship that I'm semi in, and as a business owner, so I took the barber world, the barber program. I put all I had into it, and it was something that I was like, I'm good at this. I'm good at cutting hair. And they had all these different opportunities, right? And everybody else is like, you're doing too much. Why are you going to do that? Excuse me. And you like, so I'm doing all these extra things, right? In-house, getting in-house first place, haircuts, honors, dean's list, doing all this extra shit, right? I ended up there's this clothing brand that they came through, Hairdressers Rock, and they're out of California. They're now located here in Boise. And they come and do a speech, and like, I'm like, yeah, you know what, cool, all right. And one of them was like, yeah, say yes, take advantage, like, be out of your comfort, get outside of your comfort zone. And I resonated with that, And probably 2 weeks later, Jessica Hacker, she was like the placement person for everybody. She goes, hey, they want you to be a model for them. And I'm like, I'm a gangster, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna model. And I stopped myself. After I said that, I stopped myself and I was like, let's run it. Let's do it. First time ever getting makeup put on me. And I killed the photo shoot. And it was putting myself out there in a situation that motherfuckers like me don't put themselves in.
Yeah.
So that opened up to other things. And again, there was another situation through this school that they're like, hey, you know what? You have... So they do a lot of fundraising events, right? And it was to come up with the first... Okay, so 150 Paul Mitchell schools, the first 100 students to come up with $3,000 in fundraising. And it was just to get you outside of that comfort, like not the comfort zone really, but to think differently. Like, okay, like be involved, be entwined in something that is not going to benefit you, but benefit others. Right. You know what I mean? And I was thinking about this the whole time. And when I first got out, hey, motherfucker was like, hey, here, take this dope, take this pound, take this, get cash in your pocket. And I'm like, nah, you know what? Do right. And in the end, I'll be blessed. That's what I kept telling myself. I was broke. I was getting good tips because of the services that I was doing.
Right.
And, but then again, I was broke. Right. So, So with this fundraising event, right? I hit up everybody. I hit up motherfuckers that were like, "Hey, here's the dope. If you were gonna support me then with that, you should be willing to support me with this.
Yeah.
Here's the QR code. This is where to send the money. This is what it's for. I'm putting my money towards human trafficking. Yeah. So a lot of people blocked me. But there was few out there that were like, hey, you know what? Fuck. I wish I could be in your shoes and be doing what you're doing and have the courage to do it. I support you. Boom. I came up with like 25, 22, something like that. 2,200. And again, this was money that I didn't even have money in my pocket. And I was coming up with money for a bigger cause. And one day I came into school. And they're like, hey, congratulations. I'm like, congratulations for what? They're like, you'll find out. And they had a big old thing. So they had a chart to see who was where, right? And when I walked into the room, I see my name was full. I made that. And they wanted to say, hey, or they came over and said, hey, we want to let you know that your mom paid the rest. And she just wanted you to know that she hasn't seen you work hard for anything the way that you're doing now and doing what you're doing now. And she wanted to support that.
Wow.
So,
beautiful.
Yeah. So I ended up winning this trip to see where the money goes and seeing kind of like, it was a big gala event. I ain't never been to no gala. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I ain't never been fitted for a suit. The closest thing I've ever been fitted for a suit was a prison uniform, you know what I mean? Intake. And I'm out in Beverly Hills. And yeah, man, there was extra classes. There was networking. Man, I'm from the streets. I used to drug deal. I know how to network.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's what made me stand out. That same energy, there's similarities from the dope game that I was using in this legit business. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I won that trip out there. I got to meet everybody. Win Clayball, just these heavy hitters, these main guys of Paul Mitchell, you know. And I had a lot of support through the school just to kind of like, hey, get out, do it. Like, you know what I mean? Do it. You're already doing it. You might as well do it to the fullest. Yes. So my last days at Paul Mitchell, my last week, they're like, hey, there's this other thing. It's called Beacon. It's the elite. It's the elite students. So this one is 100 students out of all beauty schools in the U.S. Beauty, barber, everything, right? And you have a chance to kind of do a video. That video I had sent you was my entrance. I did everything else, honors, everything, right? So, I submitted that. And they picked me. And they heard my story. They loved everything that I was doing. I didn't find this out up until, so I saved up my money from my student loan to go get certified in scalp micropigmentation, right? Because I'm thinking about, again, why am I ain't nobody getting rich off these simple haircuts that are $25, $35. That doesn't, I'm good. I want to make more than that. So I'm thinking about facials, doing the most, right? And I'm chasing these Instagram haircuts, and people, like, it turned out that these guys are just like hair fibers. They're painting on people's heads, and people like that because their hair looks fuller. And that's not appealing to me, right? And I came across a hashtag. It was like permanent enhancements, then head tattoo. I'm like, head tattoo. And then scalp micropigmentation popped up. I'm like, I want to do this. So yeah, I went and got certified in Utah. I completed the barber program a week apart, and then I started the esthetician program. I wanted to go back to understand skin better. Slung out. This big motherfucker went through an all-female class of the estheticians, spray-on tans, waxings, makeup, eyebrows, eyelashes, back treatments. So many different things that I would never expect to be involved in. You know what I mean? But I was killing it. And again, I did the most. Dean's List, honors. Everything that the school had to offer, I did. And so my first, after I started like a week full of the esthetician program, I ended up going into a shop. I got into a shop, and I'm like, what do I want to make my first month, right? I'm already certified in S&P, but obviously there's growing. I'm building content, building portfolios. There's, Yeah. So I'm building my S&P clientele. I'm building my barber clientele. My first 2 weeks, I said I want to make $5,000 my first month. I made $5,000 my first 2 weeks in a shop.
Hell yeah.
And that allowed me to get through the school as a full-time student for the esthetician program with scalp micropigmentation, and I enjoyed cutting hair because I was making really good money with the S&P. And it just took off from there. My first year, 20,000, or my first year I hit like 110. Ain't nobody doing that fresh out of prison.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Ain't nobody doing that ain't never been in prison.
Less than 5% of the entire population breaks six figures. Yeah. So you did that fresh out of prison.
Yeah. So I've given my all to this, and with scalp micropigmentation, I resonate with it even more so because when I was locked up, I started noticing I was receding. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna get my head blasted. I went to the extent of getting my head tattooed in order to conceal my hair loss. If I would have knew about scalp micropigmentation, I wouldn't went that route. And I know now that there's other people out there in a more of a professional setting that can't go get slung out.
Right.
But with what I do, I could definitely take care of them.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, you're like, because I've seen some pretty bad head and neck tattoos. I played rugby, and there's a lot of head tattoos. It's big in like the Scandinavian culture. A lot of like Scandinavian people I know have head tattoos, but yours like look really good.
Yeah. Again, during
COVID, it looks clean.
During COVID lockdown, I had my artist all to myself, and at the end of it, I was just running away from that needle because, But yeah, it was miserable. You had to
finish.
Yeah, I got my head done in 3 days. 3 days.
3 full days?
No, we broke it down. Well, yeah, because the morning shift were the ones that were going around fucking with people. So.
Oh, really? The COs and shit?
Yeah.
Dude,
taking the guns, taking the ink, and just enjoy your shows, get your workout in, and we'll go after lunch,
Wow, man.
But yeah, my first year in doing the SMP, I've I'm 20,000 into all my certifications. I've been to Florida, Utah, Vegas, Maryland. I got all these different techniques that I've learned throughout. Like I've networked. I network with people. I have conversations with people in United Kingdom, in Maryland, and in Dubai, and all involved in SMP. And never did I ever think that I was going to have anything, you know.
Do you feel like each time you get a certification though that like you unlock a new level, or like because it sounds like you already know what you're doing and you're the best in Idaho, but like when you go do these classes, do you feel like you're unlocking something you didn't know before? Or
so in the beginning I was just hungry. I was hungry. When I was locked up, I felt like a cartoon, and I was going and going and going, and my legs were spinning and I wasn't going nowhere. So now that I'm out here, I'm gonna make it count.
I picture the Roadrunner.
Yeah.
What was that cartoon? What is that? You guys?
Yeah.
Meep. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm doing the most, and everything that I'm doing, and I'm making it count. But I think differently than a lot of SMP artists. I feel, because now I'm an esthetician and a barber, but also I got background in sales.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah,
so,
you do.
So I'm looking at it differently, right? If my haircuts. There's gentlemen's cuts. Then there's these youngsters that want these clean fades, and they don't want to pay. And there's different client breakdowns, right? You're gonna still get that in scalp micropigmentation.
Of course.
I don't want the barbershop lineups, because that's not your business, man. That's not somebody running a company that's really like undetectable, a natural hairline that's going to boost his confidence. When you have that confidence, you're going to perform better in a whole bunch of different aspects of your life. And yeah, man, like I just want to know it all. And I feel like even the women density, I've been doing a lot of female density, and there's just a lot of stuff that I'm learning about business, like marketing techniques, strategies. I spent some money on some marketing, and I'm not too happy with, but will I do it again?
Well, now you have more people. I mean, you got Mark, you got me, you got all these people now in your corner, you know?
Yeah.
Because like I was saying, I mean, $1,000 an hour, dude.
Yeah.
And especially when you were just telling in your story, talking about people in Dubai, there's motherfuckers that would pay for you, you out, $1,000 an hour, man.
Yeah. And I know my work's good, and I know how much I put into my work.
I've seen Andrew Tate just got out of jail, dude. His hairline needs a
fucking...
he needs that shit for sure, bro.
Yeah.
Because he's all fucking grown out now, you know? And I was like, damn, his hairline looks like shit.
Yeah, like when I first got into it, I'm like, hey, you. And my approach in the beginning was like, hey, I noticed you're balding or thinning. I didn't care where I was. And there had to be... It was a lesson. It was learning to be sensitive about a subject, and you had to switch it up. You know,
good opener. You needed to refine the opener.
Yeah. So
what's the opener?
Honestly, man, like I put a lot of work into what I do. Now I have content. Now I got people. I've built really good relationships with people in
so you're
time.
Not approaching.
Not as much, because I'm sitting back and I'm just like, not as much.
I don't want to hurt this guy's feelings.
But also, like we were talking about on Saturday, is that you've only been doing it a year.
Yeah.
In 10 years, I see for you, I see you having other people that are doing it, and then your time is freed up for the very top tier client.
No, and that'd be amazing. I've done so well, and the guy that first trained me, he took a liking to me and seen the hard work and heard my story and was like, hey, you know what? Like, I want you to help teach with me. So I've been an educator, and like I said, I brought 38 new SMP artists to the area. But just like anything, you could give somebody the tools that you use, but they're not going to move like you. Right. They're not gonna. And there's people out there that do though, but they move differently, but they move like themselves, but they do put hard work into it. And
it might take you 10 years to find 10 guys.
Yeah. And I feel like in the beginning, I'm like, hey, here, let me teach you. Just to grow a team. And then it's just not that time yet. Right. Now, I'm building my name, my brand. I'm networking with people that I've never, even with up there.
Oh, yeah.
I was actually supposed to do scalp micropigmentation up there for the men in the retreat. And it came down to like the timing and then just taking away from the retreat. And are the guys going to want to fly out? Or there was just a lot of like, but I feel like me going up there did open up a lot of conversations to like, hey, that is possible. Yeah. But again, like he's like, we can't have you do S&P, but if you want to come up and cut hair, I took my opportunity. I got into a room full of motherfuckers with money and great drive, full of success, and a lot of people probably would have said, nah, I'm not going to cut hair. But I took it as an opportunity. Hey, where are you from? What's your name?
Oh, yeah.
Like, biggest takeaways, you know what I mean? And it was good. It was really good. I didn't even charge these guys for the haircuts.
Oh, really?
No, because I just...
Are you going in February?
I believe they have me plan to go up there.
Oh, okay.
And they're thinking about doing the S&P just because of the kind of the buzz of it.
Nice.
So we'll see.
Yeah, because I mean, the other thing is I never shave my mustache. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing that is really fucking thin. So maybe I just do.
So, but this is a thing, okay? Is like, I don't want to be a sales guy, and I don't want to sell you something that you don't need, okay? Just because you're balding or thinning doesn't mean you need hair, scalp micropigmentation. I tell this to clients. Scalp micropigmentation is an option for those that are balding or thinning that go throughout their day doing everything in their power to conceal their hair loss.
Right.
Right? If you're not doing that with your mustache, I don't want to sell you something that you're not like, because I feel like at this point what makes me stand out is I'm not doing dots. I restore confidence after hair loss.
Oh my God, like that's your fucking hook right there. Well, yeah, because are you insecure about it?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah, I actually dye mine. Well, my sister dyes it.
Then maybe.
She does that in my eyebrows.
Yeah, but that's like a big thing is everybody's like, oh, you're about. I talk to a lot of guys and they're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I wish there was more guys out there, but they're. I've talked to people
because my mustache also because the rest of my hair all grows in like a reddish brown, but some reason my mustache is blonde or like light. I don't know even know if it's blonde, but that's why Kayla, my sister, dyes that in my eyebrows because my eyebrows come in blonde too.
Like what is it? What do they call it? Like a tint, eyebrow tint?
No, she just does the. I don't even remember. It starts with an R. But she takes like the little eyelash thing and then puts it in on that and on this. Yeah. But yeah,
so it would darken up the backdrop, right? But you would still have to continue to do the.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that was the thing that bugs me about it is that it's so thin. It's always been that way too.
Well, think about it. We could figure something out. Yeah. But again, it's permanent, and that's what. Like I said, I do not want to. Let's say I got a guy that comes in and his hairline's back to here, and he doesn't want to shave it.
You gotta see some of this motherfucker Leonard. This other guy in town, fucking hack jobs, dude. The funniest part though was you showed me all of his clients, then you showed me him. Yeah. He's the same motherfucker, dude.
Well, this is the thing: is this guy's been doing it for 3-4 years, and what makes me different is I have an eye for a barber for the hairline. Everybody has a different shape head. They have a different hairline.
Right.
Very similar hairlines to all of them. And scalp micropigmentation is meant to make it look like hair loss was never an issue. Not even the recession. So fill that motherfucker in, you know. But there's just some artists out there that they're kind of stuck in their way, and
he's trying to put the same fucking do on every fucking head, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's hilarious.
Damn.
I feel bad for the guys, obviously, because like
they don't know any better. They don't know any better. They think it's really good work.
As long at the end of the day, if it boosts their confidence and they like what they see in the mirror, because I mean, for me, like I'm blessed. Yeah. Like I would think like if it would be detrimental. Mm-hmm. I love my hair. Mm. So it's like, yeah, I get it. Like, hey, man, if you looked in the mirror and you were just like, oh, my gosh, you know, it hurts your confidence. You're insecure, you know, you ain't getting no pussy. You know, it's like, oh, my gosh. Yeah. So, hell yeah, man. It's you got to write that down if you haven't already. Your tagline is you're restoring confidence.
Yeah, I got it.
Dude, because that is money. Just here, take my credit card.
Yeah, and we're thinking of like, they're like, hey, your story is amazing, and you need to write a book. You need to put something together.
100%.
And we came up with who would have dot.
Who would have dot?
Have you heard of ChatGPT?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I got familiar with it.
Yeah, dude. You got into crypto Giddy because him and Scott were talking Giddy, Scott. Dude. Yeah. Scott's the man.
Lace me up.
So I want to put out a book, and so like shits and giggles because I have outlines and a bunch of stuff done. I was like, I just put my outline in that sucker, and it wrote a full chapter of just way better than I could ever write with just my outline of that chapter.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised not a lot more people are doing it.
Oh, it's blowing up.
Yeah.
It freezes often.
Yeah. Yeah, I've experienced that. But I use it a lot for like Instagram posts.
Same.
Hashtags, scheduling for content, even meal prep. Like,
oh yeah, Braden was putting in, make me a meal prep for these things. I'm gluten.
Yeah, I did it too. Yes. I said I'm 227 and I want to get down to 10% body fat, and it gave me a full meal.
Damn,
yeah, it's a game changer. It definitely is.
Huh, man. Well, man, I mean, that's good, man. Good time.
Yeah.
Damn near 2 hours.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great story, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate
phenomenal.
you telling it to us.
Oh, but by the way, tell everybody what's your Instagram, how do they find you, stuff like that.
So Instagram is Real Time Results LLC. You can get on there, get through me. I have a link tree there, so
nice, perfect.
Consultations are free if you're experiencing any hair loss.
For now, because soon it's $1,000 an hour. 5 years.
Goals.
Okay, 5 then.
We'll do 5, but
okay, let's
keep that in mind, everybody, because my prices will go up. Real Time Results LLC.
There it is. Boom. Gotcha.
Yeah. Victor, man, thanks so much, bro.
Yeah.
Really appreciate your time, man. Really do.
Yeah.
You're an incredible person, incredible story, you know, and to, you know, go through all that adversity, go through all the lessons, and then come out and just kicking ass, man. It's incredible.
I feel like the biggest thing that I want to kind of put out is you could be like me from where I'm from, and there's a way out and doing something different. And it comes down to choices and accountability. And get out that motherfucking comfort zone.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, man, it's a killer.
Yeah.
Silent killer. Nice, bro. What else you got cooking today then?
Not a whole lot. I got a beard that I'm doing right now at 5 to 8 on a Friday night, and I'm cool with that. I'm content.
Nice. How's your relationship with your daughter now? Getting better?
She's 16. She hates the world.
Oh.
She hates me, but I'm just hoping just to give it some time and just kind of let her do what she does and experience what she's. If I, as a father, am not validating my daughter's feelings, she's not going to expect another man to come into her life and validate them. So I feel like it's a big lesson. She may not see it yet, and it gives me time to kind of focus on me and be able to just solidify my business, financial stability, you know?
Yeah, man. You're an incredible man.
I appreciate it,
man.
I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there.
You're already fucking there.
Get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it only gets better.
Yeah.
You get along good with your baby mom?
Nah, like a comment that my daughter made was, why couldn't you been doing this good when you were with mom? And to have to like explain that to a 16-year-old, I took a hit on it because I'm like, the fuck, this ain't coming out of your mouth. I know this is coming from your mom's mouth. And it's just a pride thing where I'm just like, just leave it alone, you know?
Yeah.
But you know what? Honestly, I had a lot more support when I was getting high, and everybody's like, why are you doing so much? Why are you getting on a podcast? Why are you, man, you didn't wake up with a needle in your arm feeling like that, death, you know what I mean? And getting shot and surviving that, and nah, man, you don't walk, if you don't walk with purpose after these situations and getting out of certain situations, like something's wrong, you know?
Yeah, you didn't learn. You're not growing. You're not winning the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's killing him.
So we'll see. We'll see. It's not.
Yeah, you're still so young.
Yeah.
All three of us, man, we're so young.
Honestly, it's only 2 years that I've been out, and I've accomplished so much within this time frame that who knows. I stopped putting goals out there because it's like, I know I feel like putting a time frame on them leaves me an excuse not to get them done quicker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to get it done. If that's what I want, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah,
you know?
100%. Wow.
Can't wait to do a reunion podcast.
For sure.
Check it in 5 years.
Yeah.
See where we're all at,
100%.
man, because it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially now, like, you know, we all, Ken's going next month to the retreat.
Yeah?
But
oh, you're going to love it.
Oh, yeah, man. Just like that culture.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, because at the end of the day, like we're all just men.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, like you were, even like your Instagram posts, like, you know, going from hanging out with gangbangers and drug dealers and shit like that to then going up to the retreat, like, we are gangbangers. We just sell. It's just different.
Yeah.
We're just different, you know.
You just saying that made me think of that thing that Brian posted the other day of Kodak Black.
I didn't see it.
Oh, he's like, I'm a suburban guy now. Like Kodak Black was talking like that. He's like,
oh my God.
I don't go to the hood anymore. What's up, buddy? Or something like that. It was hella cheesy, but it was.
Hey there, bud.
Yeah, I'm a suburban guy now, dude, or something like that.
But because he jumped in the lake.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about out of your comfort zone. You got in the sauna, dude, and you were just like, what the hell just happened, you know?
The only thing that I feel, the hole wasn't big enough for my big ass.
Oh, no way. Yeah, dude.
Dude, you should have came today, man.
To the river.
Yeah. 10 o'clock every Friday.
Every Friday?
Every Friday. So anytime you get
way
that.
colder than the lake.
Yeah?
Oh, the lake was warm. Oh, I know.
Really?
Fuck, dude.
Okay.
Way colder.
Well, I don't know. Like, that's bad then. That's
Oh, yeah. I thought that lake wasn't bad at all.
How long did you stay in?
Not very long, but I stayed in there we did for 5 minutes today. The tip of my dick is frozen. Solid. For real.
You need that.
Oh, I believe, but your hands freeze. Yeah. Like, it's.
I almost fell walking out today because my legs were like.
Well, why I went up there was, okay, put myself in a room full of like-minded people.
Right.
But it was to, like how everything that I'm trying to experience now and learn, like the disconnect, the feelings, right? Like Travis, that motherfucker, he's been through some stuff too.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And to hear him say like, hey, your story, like, is very impactful. And Mark, hey, you're in the right room. You are where you're supposed to be. Do you think a millionaire like Travis is going to let you, just anybody, do scalp micropigmentation on his head? And that got me thinking, I'm like, all right. Yeah. I feel that. You know what I mean? Because
I never would have even guessed had you not told me. That's why I'm saying, like, hey, I see, because we're both, we're thinking the same thing. Like, hey, in 1 year, I want you to be a billionaire. Mm-hmm. because you do have a gift. That's why I'm saying, like, dude, you need to be charging more.
Yeah.
But right now, you're exactly where you need to be. Yeah. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're going to be at a totally different place.
Yeah. But and I think the biggest thing is learning patience.
Yes.
And I wanted to, I forgot. I wanted to ground myself, right? I wanted to disconnect because everybody's constantly, and he was telling me, like, all these CEOs are working, and they're going to get to this place where they get money. But what is money without your health, without your sanity? And again, like, I remember wanting to disconnect. Me jumping in that motherfucking cold-ass river, the lake, I was disconnected from everything.
Yeah.
I was, and that was, like, cool.
That's why we do it every Friday at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I have no negotiating.
That's like, cool.
No matter what, I'm going to be there. So even when I was in Portugal, I still did it. And
that's awesome.
Just no matter what, you got to do it, you know, because the little bitch inside of you wants to fucking fight you on it every week. And the week he was at your guys' retreat, I did it by myself here.
Hey, sometimes you got to...
Fuck, man.
That's the hardest one.
Yeah. That was the hardest one. Because, I mean, because I even think about things like my inner bitch forgot my towel.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because I put that motherfucker the night before right by the front door. And I forgot the towel. How do you walk out the front door with a towel right there? As soon as I got here, I pulled up right in the parking lot. And I went, oh, fuck, I forgot my towel. And then immediately my inner bitch was like, oh, like, you could just go home. You don't have to do it this week. You didn't bring the towel. You don't want to drive back down here. You'll just go home, get comfy. So I fucking went and did that shit without a towel and then drove my ass freezing home. Like,
oh, yeah, man. That's a long drive, too.
But you know what? Even with me, like, I hit the gym 6, sometimes 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are trying to do what you do, trying to do what I'm doing, but they don't got what it takes, and they don't got the consistency part. Somebody could go one time, and I applaud them, and I cheer for them to go further, but chances are they're not.
100%.
You know, and that makes you different. That makes, like, the New Year's resolutions, right? You're in the gym, and you're just like, again, who I used to be as far as, like, this, again, I'm still struggling with, like, emotional feelings, like with my girl. I'm like, hey, I get to a point where I want to hang up the phone on her because that'd be like a prison relationship, like, and I can't hang the phone up on her. And now I have to use my words and communicate, and just, it's completely different, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Good times.
Yeah, but that is, man. I mean, that you've changed.
Yeah.
That old self always tries to creep in. Just hang up the phone.
Yeah, you got to let it die.
Yeah, but then again, it's like, okay, for something that got you to, like, is it bad?
No, of course not.
To worry about a solution and not put all this energy into crying over the problem part? I don't want to do that. And then I feel like it affects some people differently. You know what I mean? Like, some people are like, I wish I had that. I wish I had that. And other people are, they think I'm a robot.
Well, like you said, not everyone's meant to win the game.
Yeah.
Not everyone's meant to be successful.
Yeah.
They're just not.
That was a big breakthrough for me this year, because last year, man, I fucking, hated, I don't know, it going in deep, but I was just like anti-American last year because I found out a lot of stuff, and this year I realized that anger was holding me back and that fear was holding me back, so it's like, now I just don't even care. Like, I see and it's funny because I kept trying to, like, not watch the news, right? And like, I have a lot of friends that will share shit on Instagram, and then next thing I know, I'd be like an hour into, like, political shit, and now I see it and I'm like, damn, dude, that must, or the United States is a funny Netflix show, like, now I just laugh about it. It doesn't even faze me. Like, I don't even care to dive into it anymore because I'm just like, I don't care, man.
Yeah, man.
I don't care about any of it because it's all the same.
And it's an old game you played.
Yeah.
It's an old game.
Yep, exactly.
Nice, man. Well, great stuff.
Cool.
Rock and roll.